Hey there, real quick, before we begin, you're about to watch a live stream, which means you're really kind of behind the scenes here because these lessons are usually watched in the archives, but you're here for the live taping of them. So if we mess up really bad, we're probably going to chop that out, but you're going to get to see all of our bloopers and mistakes. We'll also chop this off, so no one is going to see this part of the lesson but you. And because you're behind the scenes, you're probably going to ignore my instructions when I say, like, pause the video and go practice or whatever. You can if you want. It's just that everyone in the chat room then will be in different places in the video. That's fine. When you want to join us live again, go down to the bottom of the video, click on the live button, and that should take you straight to where we actually are now. So now here comes the part for everybody else. I'm really glad you're with us. The archives are fine, but my favorite is talking to you live. So see you in the chat room. Welcome back to KidsLearnPianoLive.com. My name is Jamin, and as you can tell from the countdown clock here, the lesson is about to begin. If this is your first time playing piano, welcome. I'm very excited for you. You're going to do great. Hopefully you already received from us the welcome packet in the mail, and maybe you even got started on the Absolute Beginners video pack to teach you the names of the notes and things like that. But if not, that's fine. You'll do great. I'll show you how to play all the notes. And if I'm going too fast for you, you can always pause the video or rewind it and go over the more difficult parts. You can always pause the video or rewind it and go over the more difficult parts. And even if you only learn a little bit of this song and you don't learn the whole thing, you'll still learn enough to help you build skills so you can learn other songs faster in the future. So jump in, give it a try. You're bound to end up at least a little bit better than you even are right now. Throughout the lesson, I may refer to Klopple Academy, and you can check out that link on the website if you want. Basically, it's a program that takes you all the way from learning the names of the notes, the very beginning, through 12 levels of classical and jazz music, through all the skills that you would need to become a professional pianist. So you would learn all the same stuff that you would learn if you're taking regular traditional piano lessons, probably plus a little bit more, but it takes about 5 to 10 years to complete. So you can just try out the first level, see if it's the kind of thing that you like, or if you just care about today's lesson and learning this song, then just ignore all those references and focus on today's lesson. If you're watching this at LearnPianoLive.com, there should be a PDF and an MP3 button right next to this video. The MP3 is a play-along track that you can use to practice more after the lesson, but a lot of students like to print out the PDF right now so they have it during the lesson. Careful, it could be up to like 30 pages, so just find the couple pages that you want and print those out. If you decide not to, that's fine. I'll show you all of the notes on screen as we go through it. And we will be going through 5 different levels of this song that all use the same play-along track. So even if you've never played piano before, you'll still be able to do level 1. And then as we go through level 2, 3, 4, and 5, then when we use that same play-along track, you just keep playing your same version. If you're watching this lesson in the archives and you have a question during the lesson, then feel free to click on that survey button. And at the end of the survey, there's a place for you to ask your question, and I will do my best to get back to you with the answer to that question. But if you're with us live as we're recording this today, then feel free to click on that chat button, and you can talk with all the other students who are logged in during the live lesson. And if you have a question about the lesson, then you can just go ahead and type that into the box that says, Ask Jamin a question, and we will do our best to answer that question live in the lesson. All right, I think that's the end of the boring stuff. I'm ready to learn a song. Stay tuned at the end of the lesson and I'll show you how to win more points and earn more prizes next week. But for right now, let's get this party started. Really fast song. Can we go one more time? We also have a click in. Oh man, this might be rough. Man, we're like 2 seconds in the lesson. Let's try this again. No! Really? Okay, go again. Don't worry, it's gonna be super easy for you.
Okay, we don't have a click in today, but that's all right. We can still make this thing work. Anyway, first, before we get into this crazy, crazy fast, but super short song, let me introduce to you the incomparable Kendra.
Guess what, Jamin? I just started reading a book called Renegades, and it is so good. It's actually from, like, the bad guy's point of view. And, like, you start off with, like, this, you know, like, the very beginning, you're like, oh, man, I'm really rooting for this person. And then all of a sudden, you're like, wait a second. I'm not sure what side I'm rooting for.
Yeah.
So I'm only a few chapters in, but I am very much enjoying it.
Yeah. All right. That's
Yeah.
interesting. I think that's the way some people show up and root for Clapple, who is always interrupting me, even though obviously I'm trying to get a song done and he's wanting to move along in the lesson. But anyway, yes, we will move along. Don't worry. They're all rooting for you, even though we're fighting each other sometimes. But here we go into this song. It's gonna start on an A, and it's got a lot of jumping around. So it jumps a whole lot, and it's really super, super, super fast. But it's really short and doesn't have that many notes in it. So I think you could do this one, even if you got to practice it a whole lot without the track to work it up to the full speed. Let's try this chunk right here. It's gonna start on an A. In order to find an A, you're just gonna take any group of 3 black notes, like those ones or those ones. Any group of 3 is gonna work. I'll use these here because it's going to kind of go up after that. So I want to use one that's kind of low-ish. We're going to take this group of 3. We're going to take this middle note right here and drag it slightly up, slightly to the right, and we'll land on an A every single time. That's our first note. Okay, our next notes are those ones. Okay, well, let me show you. We're going to take this one. We're going to jump over 3 white notes to get to this note right here. It happens to be called an E if you followed the alphabet. A, B, C, D, E. You would run into that one right there. But anyway, you don't have to know what the letter is. Just skip over 3 white notes, you'll be there. And then you're gonna skip over 2 white notes, 1, 2, and land on this one, which happens to be an A also, because if you go through the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, G is the last note in the musical alphabet, the very next note would start back over at A. So we're gonna play an A, and then E, and then an A. You don't have to play them at the same time. Don't worry if your hand's not big enough to reach all those. We're just gonna go one at a time. Even if you just played it with one finger, that'd be fine. But for me, I try to, like, as I'm playing, I try to, like, visualize, like, imagine what the next notes are gonna be. So it's like kind of a shape. So here I'm skipping over 3 and then skipping over 2 and then skipping over 1 actually. So it's kind of like a pattern there. We're gonna start on an A, skip over 3, then 2, then 1. And then we're gonna go backwards to this note right here. So that's the first 5 notes of the song is an A, and then an E, and then an A, and then a C, and then an A. That's gonna take some practice right there. Just like that might be all that you work on this week because there's so much jumping, trying to aim and hit the right notes. It's super tricky. It might take 10 or 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 tries, but if you keep going, you'll get it. I know you will. So we're gonna play all of those as our first 5 notes, and then later on, when you have that down, you can come back to the video and watch the rest of these notes here, which are gonna be a G sharp and an A and a B. So usually in level 1, we don't have any black notes, but in this case, we're going to. So once again, the first 5 notes are that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. The black note right next to it is called a G sharp because this one right here would be a G, and that's slightly higher than a G. So that'd be called a G sharp. That's what that hashtag is all about right there. So a G hashtag or a G sharp is gonna be right there. We're gonna play that one and the A and the B, just like that. And we actually call this an enclosure where we're like really aiming at this A, but we're kind of playing all the notes around it. So we're playing a G sharp and then an A and then a B, and finally we land on that A. So that's the next phrase that you'd want to play is that thing right there. So that's all the first 2 phrases. We've already jumped around a whole lot. You probably have plenty to practice already. Let me show you what it all sounds like. It'd go A, E, A, C, A, G sharp, A, B, A. And then we're gonna go from there. We're gonna use pretty much the same notes that we used to get up. We used A's and C's and E's, and we're gonna use A's and C's and E's to get down after that. So E, C, A. It's kind of the same set of notes that we used to get up. So from the A, down to E, down to C, down to A. In other words, we're gonna take that note that we landed on last, skip over 2 notes. By the way, right about now is where a lot of students are going, wait a second, I was with you at the beginning, but I don't understand what you're doing now. It's too many notes. I agree, it's too many notes. Don't try to do all of the notes. Just do all the notes that you can that make sense. Maybe add in one more, so it's a little bit tricky, and just practice that thing over and over and over. And then don't worry about the rest of the notes. Once you have that down, then you can come back and add in one more note, and then come back and add in one more note. So if it starts to feel like, oh no, this is too many notes, everybody's gonna feel like that at some point. That just means don't practice that whole section. Practice the part that makes sense, plus maybe one note. So we're gonna go from A down to E, down to C, down to A. Again, I can reach them all because I have giant hands, but you can play it with just one finger. I just want to show you where all the notes are going to be so you can kind of visualize it. It's going to be those ones right there. And then we've got our second line. We landed on this A right here. Now we're going to go to a B and a C and a D and an E, but this D has that hashtag on it. So instead of playing a regular D, we're going to play the D sharp, the note that's right next to D, slightly higher, a little bit to the right. So now it's going to be B, C, D sharp, E. Okay, cool. Then we're gonna come down off of that one. We're gonna skip down and skip down and skip down. That would give you an E and a C and an A and an F. But some of you guys notice this is coming up. That last F there is not a regular F. It's the note that's slightly higher than F, so we're gonna play that note right there instead. So it'd be E, C, A, F sharp. Let me play all those notes for you together just so you can hear how it's gonna go eventually when you come back and you work on all these notes for the first two lines all together. It's gonna start on this A. We're gonna go up. These first couple notes you already know enough to practice probably. All those, we come back to the A. We do the enclosure around the A. And then we come down with the E and the C and the A. And then we're gonna go up one note at a time, but the D is sharp. And then E, C, A, not F, but F sharp. And then we just have 4 notes left and we're done. Good job. Here we go. Last line. Again, you don't have to get to this one until maybe next week or the week after after you've already practiced all the rest of it. But we landed here on this F sharp. We're gonna go up to the next black note, which is a G sharp, like we talked about before. And we're gonna do another enclosure around this A. So up at the top we went, and I said that was called an enclosure. Down here, we're gonna do the exact same enclosure. All right, this will be our last time through. So we're gonna do that same enclosure down here and then we're done. So it look like this, G sharp, A, B, A. That's the song. You did it. All the notes. One more time to show you how they would all sound together. It's gonna be A, E, A, C, A, and then we do the enclosure around the A. We hit the A and immediately move down, and then we go up through the letters, but with the D sharp, and then E, C, A, F sharp, and then the same enclosure but lower. One more time without me talking over it. And with the track, our last time through, this one doesn't have clicks in it, but your track will have clicks in it if you're watching this in the archives. So it'll sound like this. A little bit of a pause at the beginning. And here we go. Pretty fast, but I think if you break it down just little section by little section, you'll be able to get it. And for right now, before we move on to level 2 and practice the same exact thing more, Kendra, tell us about our weekly activity.
This week is note value dice, and you just cut out the dice and tape them together so you can test yourself on the note values. And tag Learn Piano Live when you post a picture on Facebook or Instagram for 150 bonus points from our mascot penguin, Clopple.
Yeah, I think all my favorite ones are the ones that have the dice in them. Those are a lot of fun. Well, now it's time for our, what do we call this? The feature of the day? Today it's a piano hack. That's what we call it, a piano hack. So then I just wanted to show you that a lot of you, like when you're sending in your videos and stuff, when the notes get really high, then you have a hard time keeping up with the rhythms. That's too fast for you, but it's not actually too fast for you. It's just too fast for that right there, your pinky finger. Today's piano hack is don't use your pinky finger. That's it. Except you are allowed to use your pinky finger if it's the very last highest note. So if you're trying to go up and 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 up, and then you got this last note up here, and then you're gonna turn around and come back down, then you're allowed to use your pinky. Otherwise, just don't use your pinky. That's what I would do. And same thing on the end down here. So if you got this thing that goes down, 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 like that, and your pinky keeps being responsible for all these notes down here, then just use these fingers here until it's the very last note, and then you can use your pinky and come up. Or just don't use your pinky at all, because your pinky's always a dead end. If you go up and you end with your pinky, now it's a dead end. There's no good way to get to that next note. No matter what I do, it's all gonna be awkward to get that next note over. So we don't wanna use our pinky unless it's the very, very last note and we're turning around and coming the other direction. That's gonna speed up a lot of the songs where you have to like cover a whole lot of notes. Just don't use your pinky, it's gonna mess you up. Well, now it's time for mailbag.
If you'd like to win an extra 750 points by being the mailbag winner, just fill out the survey at the end of the lesson or send us a message anytime during the week using the contact button at the top of the page.
And this week it's from Charisse L, who says, Dear Jamin, why is it so hard to play the left hand and the right hand together? Yeah, if you're doing like level 2B or level 3 or definitely level 4, then you've had the experience of trying to do your right hand and you're like, yes, I have it down. Cool, now I'm gonna work on my left hand. And then you get your left hand, you're like, yeah, I got it down. I can do my right hand and my left hand. Watch this. And you go to do your right hand and your left hand, and it all falls apart. Every single time. That's totally normal because if you're doing your right hand part and you can do that, that might be using up like, I don't know, almost all of your brain. And then you go to do your left hand and then you're working on that and you can play that. It sounds perfect, but it's using up almost all of your brain. But then you go to play them both together and you're using up almost all your brain for that and almost all your brain for that, and your brain poops out. That's totally normal. So what you actually have to do is practice that right hand, not until you can play it perfectly, but until you can play it perfectly with using only like half your brain. The way you can practice that is try your right hand and then have someone in your family ask you random facts that you totally know. Like, I don't know, let's say we were working on just playing this scale here and then have someone ask you like, what's your favorite color? I do this all the time in my lessons when people are here in the studio and then they're like, I can totally play this, and I can tell they can't quite, I mean, that's pretty close, but they can't quite play it. I'll be like, all right, cool, why don't you play it for me again? And they'll play and they'll be like, what's 2 plus 2? And they're like, oh no, I messed up. Because just trying to think about anything else, even something as easy as 1 plus 1, 2 plus 2, what's your favorite color? What's the first letter in your name? Any easy question in the world is gonna take up, well, I don't know, 5 or 10% of your brain. And if you were already using almost all your brain, then it's not gonna work anymore and your notes are gonna mess up, or you're not gonna be able to tell me what's the first letter of your name. So my recommendation is try just one hand at a time and try to do something else. Have a conversation with your mom, or try to count backwards from 20 or anything. Spell your name while you're playing the song. And if you can do that, then that's probably a pretty good indication that your right hand isn't taking up your full brain. Then do the same thing with your left hand. And once you can do that, then try them both together. Your brain still might poop out a little bit, but you'll be a lot better off than just trying to barely get the right hand and barely get the left hand and then putting them together and being frustrated when it doesn't work, because that's just normal. Well, what else is normal is that there's some stuff about this song that most people don't know, but I'm about to tell you in this secret information.
Secret information.
And this week, in our top secret information folder, we have a couple facts about this song. The first one is that this thing right here at the beginning, that has a special name that most people don't know. When we play this right here, that right there is all the notes of an A minor chord. And when we play all the notes of a chord, we play them in order, going over several octaves. That's called an arpeggio. So this whole thing starts off with kind of this arpeggio of A minor. In fact, if you played all the notes of an A minor, which is A and C and E, all the notes of that A minor all in a row, that'd be a great ending for this song. Let me try that. So if we had, that's a great ending for a song. So try an arpeggio of any chord when you end this song. And this song right here is arpeggio of an A minor. The next thing in our top secret information folder says, oh, we've got this weird note in here. You might have noticed this, especially if you've never heard the song before. If you heard the song before, this sounded normal. But if you've never heard the song before, this guy right here sounded super, super weird. Now, this guy over here did not sound super weird, even though that's got a sharp on it, because we're in the key of A minor. If you've been here for a long time, you already know if we got all white notes plus a G sharp, probably the key of A minor. that aside, this thing right here, that's a weird note. That's because that's a half step below the note that we want to go to. So this thing right here, we were just gonna go through all the normal notes like that, just straight through. But since we wanted to land on that note, instead of going through the D, we went to the note that's just barely below the note that we wanted to land on. You can do this with any song. When you have some note that's like really important, you want to land on it really hard, just go a half step below that note. The black note or the white note that's like right next to it. And it creates a lot of anticipation. We call that the leading tone in a lot of cases. So just the note that's just barely, even if it goes outside of the key, even if it sounds like it's going to be messed up, it's going to create way more anticipation if it's just a half step away instead of a whole step away, like those two notes are right there. That one's going to create more anticipation. So that's called the leading tone or anticipation. All right, well, that's all that's in the folder, which means we're down to our last piece of secret information. Who won this week's raffle? Maybe it's you. So sadly, the lesson preview has come to an end, and it's time to say goodbye to everyone watching the free streams. Of course, paying subscribers at learnpianolive.com can continue watching this lesson and several hundred others like it in the archives. So come on over and check us out. And if you like what you saw, at least like and subscribe, and then tell your friends to head on over to learnpianolive.com to start enjoying this journey with us.